we're going to punch it in the wet. A little bit of scramble, but 60 mile an hour like that. This car is insane. Hi guys, Alex Peak Performance Reviews. Welcome to another vlog and welcome to another car review. Today I am at Glyn Hopkin MG Bedford for an amazing drive, hopefully I say. I am in the new MG4, but not any MG4. I am in the new MG4 XPOWER. Absolute beast, all-wheel drive, 429 horsepower, all other amazing specs as well, but I'm not going to tell you that. If you've got any questions, as always guys, hit us up in the comment section and I'll be sure to answer you. But yeah, without further ado, let's go drive. Okay, onto the drive then. As I said in the intro, a bit about the car. 429 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 3.8. I didn't mention that. We have got horrible weather today, but it doesn't matter. Thankfully, we have an all-wheel drive platform. Thankfully as well, you'll notice that MG have kept it quite safe. They've got it kind of slightly rear wheel biased, but it also has this clever torque vectoring system, which is unique to this, obviously being all-wheel drive, which is really, really good. So when you have weather conditions like this, even though the normal trophy had snow mode, etc., this has all-wheel drive to keep you that extra bit safe. But it has that torque vectoring system that works really, really well. But I'm going to push it on a little bit more in a mode, but I'm going to get used to the car first. As I said before in the intro as well, if you've got any questions, definitely hit us up in the comment section. But yeah, let's see what it's like. Let's first and foremost see what the chassis feels like. A few of my viewers have said in the comment section they want to know about the handling. They're all worried and concerned about the extra weight that all-wheel drive will bring to the car. Obviously the trophy being really, really sporty, really agile for an EV with a lot of weight. This obviously has a little bit more weight, but you don't notice it, and I mean you're talking very small amounts of extra weight. But what MG have done is they've increased the torsional stiffness of the suspension, and they have increased it by 25%. They've also done some things with the anti-roll bars, which is really, really good. So they've not just chucked power at this thing, they've also thought about that and added some key components on the suspension. So other than suspension modifications, there are also changes to the brakes. Thankfully MG have thought about that, which obviously is very important. You upgrade the suspension, you also need to do the brakes when you've got that kind of extra power on tap. Thankfully they have uprated calipers with 345mm brakes all round, and yeah, although you'll see these striking orange brake calipers, they're actually caliper covers, but they are an indication of the extra performance from the braking system, which is great. So and just to let you know, I'll give it a little bit of a go, push the car on a little bit, and the brakes are absolutely phenomenal. They're definitely an upgrade over the standard trophy brakes or MG4 brakes in general, which is great. Very, very thankful for that. We've got so much power on tap, and we have horrendous UK weather right now, which is unfortunate. However, this does have loads of different drive modes, clever modes, including snow modes and things like that. And it also has a new feature which is called track mode. Obviously anyone who's new to the channel or not new to the channel will know that I absolutely adore going on track, and I love track focused cars. It's obviously why I have the channel as it is, performance flagship model cars. But yeah, this car is absolutely superb. It handles really nice, it feels like it takes the power really, really well. Admittedly, I haven't accelerated yet, but I'm going to do it for you right now. I'm going to slow down, not completely. I'm going to just literally punch roll it. At the moment we are only on we're on normal mode, so I'm going to put it onto sport. We're nearly, not quite stopped, but we're going to punch it in the wet. A little bit of scramble, but 60 mile an hour like that. This car is insane. The power is unbelievable, and actually the grip levels, it is absolutely sodden and soaking wet on the tarmac at the moment. And the grip levels, there's a little bit of scramble, you can feel, and that was an all-wheel drive scramble, which is amazing. So it shows the power and torque this car has available instantaneously. However, the grip is unbelievable. It doesn't squirm, it doesn't go sideways, it just stays nice and true. All the kind of active braking systems are doing everything and they're taking off a bit of power if they have to, you can turn the traction control off nearly completely, but not quite completely. But if anything's to go by from the trophy, it is a quite playful little animal, and this is second to none. Like in that respect, this definitely keeps you on the straight and narrow, but you can see it and feel it doing a little something to keep it nice and playful. But I will show that a little bit more when I go around the twisties a little bit more. But I'm going to do that acceleration just one more time because that is addictive. Let's have another go, buddy. Low down pull. 1, 2, 3, go. Still less scramble now, maybe a bit more heat into the brakes. 60, done. Unbelievable. Yeah, the performance on tap on this car is absolutely amazing. But I'm going to tell you a bit more about some of the fundamental changes. This has the two-tone differences, so the wing mirrors and the roof. You'll say that's no different to normal MG. Well, they've actually changed their range. It's now only on the extended range model now, and the XPOWER is exclusive to that. This colour that we have here is exclusive to the MG XPOWER. It's this kind of green matte colour. It's an £800 upgrade, which is nothing. And it stands out quite nicely from the other MGs that are out there, from the trophy, etc. Everyone's going to know even more so that you have a XPOWER model car if you get this colour for £800. Not bad at all, and I love it. It really, really sets off the orange calipers nicely, and it definitely, I think, possibly is probably the one I would choose. Hit us up in the comment section what you think would be the colour you'd go for, and I'll show you maybe the website colours scrolling as we're talking as well. Other than that, what is different on this car? Actually quite a lot, and a lot more than people were saying in some of the press release stuff. Obviously it's got this red stitching, it's got the Alcantara interior seats, and also it's got 18-inch alloys over 17-inch alloys, performance Turanza tyres, Bridgestone Turanza tyres, and also the most important thing, the power. All-wheel drive platform, big power, still 64 kilowatt hour battery, but it charges also at 150 kilowatt hour, which is really, really good. So you can go from 10 to 80% charge in 35 minutes, which is amazing on this car, and that is over the trophy's 135. So it's just that extra little bit of pace that it can get the electric back into the car if you go to some of these fast electric charge stations, which is brilliant. And other than that, obviously you've got the brakes. So between the differences, you've actually got a lot, and visually you can tell that it is, in my opinion, premium and flagship, and that's what I like. They've done enough to suggest and allow people to realise when you're driving this one, you are driving something special. It is an XPOWER, it is a beast, and it just looks a little bit nicer than even the trophy model, which is a stunning car in its own right. Again, as I said before, I was at MG Bedford. I'll give you links in the bio to all of their information if you are interested in the test drive. So make sure you go check those guys out, and if you're interested in one of these, go and book a test drive, and yeah, look to potentially buy one and get your name down for one ASAP, because I think these are going to go like absolute hotcakes. So far from my drive, and I'm going to continue to drive this a bit more, this is a fantastic car. It's doing a really efficient kilowatt miles performance range at the moment. These will do up to 239 miles, so a little bit less than the extended range ones. Admittedly, you'd expect that. It's got a lot more power, it's got an all-wheel drive system, but considering it's got that, for a performance EV, I've seen cars that will only give 140 real range, and this tends to put out easy 180 to 200 even when you're doing a bit of both. But it will genuinely do, from what I have seen, genuinely do up to the 240 mile range that it is suggesting, which is absolutely superb. Other than the extra goodies and the power and everything like that, one thing this does have over any of the other MG4 models is it now has the complete proper one drive pedal mode as well, which is awesome. I've driven other EVs. One of the cars that kind of piloted that, so to speak, was a Tesla, and a few other cars were following suit. It means that effectively you can drive this on one pedal. It will come to a complete stop if you want it to. You can turn it on and off if you want to also. It has a plethora of energy recovery modes and drive modes, from snow, eco, normal, sport, and a custom, which I love. You can change it to however you want, and I'll talk about those drive modes, or the fundamental feel of, you know, what you get from the MG in terms of its feel. Now, The handling characteristics I've talked about on the MG4, they're not too dissimilar. This obviously has a bit more stiffer suspension, better anti-roll bars, and they've thought about it, and way more power. But what I love about this MG is they've really thought about the steering feel and input, which is really, really good. It feels like it gives you so much feedback, and as you go through the modes and cycle through what is effectively a more eco mode or a safe mode to a really sporty mode, it just steps up the firmness, which gives it that more racy, sporty feel. Gives you a lot more communication through the front wheels and the chassis, and I love that. It feels really, really good. The weight in sports mode is really, really nice. Track mode wouldn't be any different. The only thing with track mode is you can press it on the screen here. It will give you telemetry on a track or a course you can custom set out, and it will give you telemetry, G-force, things like that. And yeah, it's unbelievable. And you can take these to the track, safe in the knowledge that it will do a really, really good job. More tracks are starting to kind of support EVs now, so you will have charge stations sometimes at some of these circuits, and you could go around for a good hour or so, which you don't tend to do outright non-stop, and you'll be able to do a full day, probably get a charge in your lunchtime, and go back out for a decent amount of time. It certainly feels like this car is going to take to a track really, really well. Fast road conditions, absolutely superb. So yeah, let's talk a little bit more about the dynamics of this car. Obviously, I've been talking to you a lot about the car, but I haven't been pushing it on just yet, so I'm going to push it on now and answer that question that I've had quite a few times in my comment section about, does the weight make a difference and does it carry the weight well? Now, like I say, again, what you have to remember, guys, and I will talk while I'll try to talk while I'm taking some of these curves and crests. Now, this is a very testing little road, you'll see, and it's eating up these lumps and bumps. Obviously, it's because of the road being wet, it can be a little dangerous, so we need to be a bit careful. But I tell you what, brakes are superb, front end and rear really dialed in, and to me it just feels like the trophy in the sense of it has a great chassis, it has the weight low down, the grip levels are amazing from the all-wheel drive platform. This is what sets this off from the other MG4s. The low down grip that you get, I mean, in these conditions it would be a little bit more leery, a little bit more scary to know that you can put your foot down and enjoy it, but in this you really, really can, because you've got that all-wheel drive platform. And as we've got a car in front, I'm just going to slow down. I'm going to do another launch because I love this launch. It's very addictive. Let's give it a launch. Right, here we go. Little bit of scramble, but my God, it is so quick. It is so quick. So I've shown you a little bit more about how it handles, but I still feel like I haven't driven it enough to give it that definite call on whether it's handles the power fine. So I'm just going to push it on a little bit more. If I do go quiet, I might put some music over it, because obviously we've got an EV, you won't hear anything. But no, I probably will try to talk but concentrate at the same time. Like I say, the weather is horrible. The performance is unbelievable. And just to put into perspective, while I'm circumnavigating these roads, 3.8 0 to 60 is the same as an Aston Martin DB11 5.2 V12 twin turbo car. It's a £250,000 supercar. It is just unreal. Pound per brake horsepower, performance, whatever you want to say, this MG XPOWER is unbelievable, and it handles really well. It handles really well. And to answer the questions that I've had in my comment section, does it handle the performance extra that's been given to it and the weight of the all-wheel drive platform? Honestly, absolutely. And does it wear the Prestige XPOWER logo with pride from the old crazy XPOWERs that used to be out? Honestly, absolutely. This is, way higher performance than any M-Power or X-Power, sorry, cars have ever had. And honestly, you could have so much fun in this car. You could use your license very easily. Obviously 124 mile an hour top speed. You're only going to do that on an autobahn, but you don't need that. The fundamental performance areas where you use this is between 0 and 70 odd mile an hour legally. And genuinely, on a B road, you can throw this car at any corner, undulating, cambered, bumpy, lumpy, and it isn't crashy, it isn't uncomfortable. You could live with this daily, and for just under 36,500 pounds, and this paint just £800 option. It has everything else that the MG X4, the MG4 has, which is all of those amazing features: Apple CarPlay, Android, 360-degree camera, all these auto lane assist functions, adaptive cruise control, a plethora of different things. It's so loaded and laden with features that you would only find this performance and spec on cars that would cost 60k, RS3s, A45Ss, and like I say, at the end of the day, to someone who would pay this money, it's not necessarily going to ever be accessible to get a 60-70k car. When you option these RS3s up, you're talking 80k even. This car is £36,500 and it has everything. Yeah, MG, well done. This is a performance bargain. What a car. You've smashed it out of the park and I love it. This is brilliant. I now want one. So that is the end of our review on the MG4 XPOWER, and I have to say, wow, I am genuinely so impressed with this car. Dynamically, brakes, handling, suspension. For someone who's very racy like me, that has blown my mind. For £36,500 circa, I cannot believe how good this car is. Genuinely, if anyone's watched my EV videos, my favourite car was currently the Genesis GV60 Sports Plus, which definitely was the best SUV out there. This is on par with that car in terms of performance and handling and everything, but it's half the price, guys. So obviously that means that this effectively is now my favourite EV of anything out there. It blows every bit of the competition, in my opinion, actually out of the water by a massive margin. And it's just such a fun car. It's an EV, but it gives me that sense of fun, happiness, and I love it. I genuinely want one, and it's amazing. And as I always say, guys, if I haven't covered anything, hit us up in the comment section to let us know of your questions. Again, I must say a massive thanks to Glyn Hopkin MG Bedford. Links in the bio to all of their information. Honestly, guys, go get a test drive. You will not be disappointed. Or if you haven't got the time to do that and you've got the money for one of these, just order one now from the guys at Bedford. This car is mind-blowing. It's absolutely superb. And I'm going to give it a peak performance rating of 95 out of 100, isolated in an EV segment. It is unbelievable. It's the best EV out there, bar none, because you're looking at the value as well. It's phenomenal. Guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, like, share, comment and subscribe. See you again in the next one. Bye for now.